ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, those who are listening from the field of arts, commerce, engineering, the most honorable President Narendra Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. RKM from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section. You are listening the truth of science and spirituality, language to literature. How to use the power of your subconscious for wealth. If you are having financial difficulties, if you are trying to make ends meet, it means you have not convinced your subconscious mind that you will always have plenty and some to spare. You know, men and women who work a few hours a week and make fabulous sums of money, they do not strive or slave hard. Do not believe the story that the only way you can become wealthy is by the sweat of your brow and hard labor. It is not so. Effortless way of life is the best. Do the thing you love to do and do it for the joy and thrill of it. I know an executive in Los Angeles who received a salary of $75,000 yearly. Last year, he went on a 9-month cruise seeing the world and its beauty spots. He said to me that he had succeeded in convincing his subconscious mind that he is worth that much money. He told me that many men in his organization getting about $100 a week knew more about the business than he did and could manage it better. But they had no ambition, no creative ideas, and were not interested in the wonders of their subconscious mind. Wealth is of the mind. Wealth is simply a subconscious conviction on the part of the individual. You will not become a millionaire by saying, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. You will grow into a wealth consciousness by building into your mentality the idea of wealth and abundance. Your invisible means of support. The trouble with more people is that they have no invisible means of support. When business falls away, the stock market drops or they lost their investments. They seem helpless. The reason for such insecurity is that they do not know how to tap the subconscious mind. They are unacquainted with the inexhaustible storehouse within. A man with a poverty type mind finds himself in poverty-stricken conditions. Another man with a mind filled with ideas of wealth is surrounded with everything he needs. It was never intended that men should lead a life of indigence. You can have wealth, everything you need and plenty to spare. Your words have power. Your words have power to cleanse your mind of wrong ideas and to instill right ideas in their place. The ideal method for building a wealth conscious. Perhaps you are saying as you read this chapter, I need wealth and success. This is what you do. Repeat for about 5 minutes to yourself 3 or 4 times a day. Wealth, success, wealth, success. These words have tremendous power. They represent the inner power of the subconscious mind. Anchor your mind on this substantial power within you. Then conditions and circumstances corresponding to their nature and quality will be manifested in your life. You are not saying, I am wealthy. You are dwelling on real powers within you. There is no conflict in the mind when you say wealth. Furthermore, the feeling of wealth will well up within you as you dwell on the idea of wealth. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. Keep this in mind at all times. Your subconscious mind is like a bank, a sort of universal financial institution. It magnifies whatever you deposit or impress upon it, whether it is the idea of wealth or poverty, wealth or of poverty. Choose wealth. Why your affirmations for wealth fall? Why your affirmations for wealth fail? I have talked to many people during the past 35 years whose usual complaint is, I have said for weeks and months, I am wealthy, I am prosperous, and nothing has happened. I discovered that when they said, I am prosperous, I am wealthy, they felt within that. They were lying to themselves. One man told me, I have affirmed that. I have affirmed that I am prosperous until I am tired. Things are now worse. I knew when I made the statement that it was obviously not true. His statements were rejected by the conscious mind, and the very opposite of what he outwardly affirmed and claimed was made manifest. Your affirmation succeeds best when it is specific and when it does not produce a mental conflict or argument. Hence, the statements made by this man made matters worse because they suggested his lack. Your subconscious accepts what you really feel to be true, not just idle words or statements. Not just idle words or statements. The dominant idea or belief is always accepted by the subconscious mind. How to avoid mental conflict? The following is the ideal way to overcome the conflict for those who have this difficulty. Make this practical statement frequently, particularly prior to sleep. By day and by night, I am being prosperous in all of my interests. This affirmation will not arouse any argument because it does not contradict your subconscious mind's impression of financial lack. I suggested to one businessman whose sales and finances were very low and who was greatly worried that he sit down in his office, become quit and repeat this statement over and over again. My sales are improving every day. This statement engaged the cooperation of the conscious and subconscious mind. Results followed. Don't sign blank checks. Don't sign blank checks. You sign blank checks when you make such statements as, there is not enough to go around. There is not enough to go around. There is a shortage. I will lose the house because of the mortgage, etc. If you are full of fear about the future, you are also writing a blank check and attracting negative conditions to you. Your subconscious mind takes your fear and negative statements as you request and proceeds in its own way to bring obstacles, delay, lack and limitations into your life. Your subconscious gives you compound interest. To him that hates the feeling of wealth, more wealth shall be added. To him that hates the feeling of lack, more lack shall be added. Your subconscious multiplies and magnifies whatever you deposit in it. Every morning as you awaken, deposit thoughts of prosperity, success, wealth and peace. Dwell upon these concepts. Busy your mind with them as often as possible. These constructive thoughts will find their ways as deposits in your subconscious mind and bring forth abundance and prosperity. Why nothing happened? I can hear you saying, oh, I did that and nothing happened. You did not get results because you indulge in fear. Thoughts perhaps 10 minutes later and neutralize the good you had affirmed. When you place a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up, you let it take root and grow. Suppose, for example, you are going to say, I shall not be able to make the payment. Before you get further then, I shall stop the sentence and dwell on a constructive statement such as, by day and by night I am prospered in all my ways. True source of wealth. Your subconscious mind is never short of ideas. There are within it an infinite number of ideas ready to flow into your conscious mind and appear as cash in your pocketbook in countless ways. This process will continue to go on in your mind regardless of whether the stock markets goes up or down, or whether the pound sterling or dollar drops in value. Your wealth is never truly dependent on bond, stocks, or money in the bank. These are really only symbols, necessary and useful, of course, but only symbols. The point I wish to emphasize is that if you convince your subconscious mind that wealth is yours and that it is always circulating in your life, you will always and inevitably have it, regardless of the form it takes, trying to make ends meet and the real cause. These are people who claim that they are always trying to make ends meet. They seem to have a great struggle to meet their obligations. Have you listened to their conversation? In many instances, their conversation runs along this vein. They are constantly condemning those who have succeeded in life and who have raised their heads above the crowd. Perhaps they are saying, "Oh, that fellow has a racket. He is ruthless. He is a crook. This is why they lack." They are condemning. They are condemning the thing they desire and want. The reason they speak critically of their more prosperous associates is because they are envious and covetous of the other's prosperity. The quickest way to cause wealth to take wings and fly away is to criticize and condemn others who have more wealth than you. A common stumbling block to wealth. There is one emotion which is the cause of lack of wealth, is the lives of many. Most people learn this the hard way. It is envy. For example, if you see a competitor depositing large sums of money in the bank and you have only a meager amount to deposit, does it make you envious? The way to overcome this emotion is to say to yourself, "Isn't it wonderful? I rejoice in that man's prosperity. I wish for him greater and greater wealth." To entertain envious thoughts is devastating because it places you in a very negative position. Therefore, wealth flows from instead of to you. If you are ever annoyed or irritated by the prosperity or great wealth of another, claim immediately that you truly wish for him greater wealth in every possible way. This will neutralize the negative thoughts in your mind and cause an ever greater measure of wealth to flow to you by the law of your own subconscious mind. Rubbing out a great mental block to wealth. If you are worried and critical about someone whom you claim is making money dishonestly, cease worrying about him. You know such a person is using the law of mind negatively. The law of mind. The law of mind takes care of him. Be careful not to criticize him for the reasons previously indicated. Remember, the block or obstacle to wealth is in your own mind. You can now destroy that mental block. This you may do by getting on mental good terms with everyone. Sleep and grow rich. As you go to sleep at night, practice the following technique. Repeat the word wealth quietly easily and willingly. Do this over and over again, just like a lullaby. Lull yourself to sleep with the one word, wealth. You should be amazed at the result. Wealth should flow to you in avalanches of abundance. This is another example of the magic power of your subconscious mind. Dear friends, you are right to be rich. It is your right to be rich. You are here to lead the abundant life and be happy, radiant and free. You should therefore have all the money you need to lead a full, happy and prosperous life. You are here to grow, expand and unfold spiritually, mentally and materially. You have the inalienable rights to fully develop and express yourself along all lines. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Why be satisfied with just enough to go around when you can enjoy the riches of your subconscious mind? In this chapter, you can learn to make friends with money, and you should always have a surplus. Your desire to be rich is a desire for a fuller, happier, more wonderful life. It is a cosmic urge. It is not only good, but also very good. Money is a symbol. Money is a symbol of exchange. It means to you not only freedom from want, but beauty, luxury, abundance and refinement. It is merely a symbol of the economic health of the nation. When your blood is circulating freely in your body, you are healthy. When money is circulating freely in your life, you are economically healthy. When people begin to hoard money, to put it away in tin boxes and become charged with fear, there is economical illness. Money has taken many forms as a medium of exchange down through the centuries, such as salt, beads, and trinkets of various kinds. In early times, a man's wealth was determined by the number of sheep and oxen he had. Now we use currency and other negotiable instruments, as it is much more convenient to write a check than carry some sheep around with you to pay bills. How to walk the royal road to riches. Knowledge of the powers of your subconscious mind is the means to the royal road to riches of all kinds, spiritual, mental or financial. The student of the laws of mind believes and knows definitely that regardless of economic situations, stock market fluctuation, depression, strikes, war, other conditions or circumstances, he will always be amply supplied, regardless of what form money takes. The reason for this is that he has conveyed the idea of wealth to his subconscious mind, and it keeps him supplied. Wherever you may be, he has convinced himself in his mind that money is forever flowing freely in his life, and that there is always a wonderful surplus. Should there be a financial collapse of government tomorrow, and all the men present holding become valueless, as the German marks did after the First World War, he would still attract wealth and be cared for, regardless of the form. the new currency too. Why you do not have more money? As you read this chapter, you are probably saying, I am worthy. I am worthy of a higher salary than I am receiving. I believe most people are inadequately compensated. One of the causes many people does not have more money is that they are silently or openly condemning it. They refer to money as filthy lucre. Filthy lucre or the love of money is the root of all evil. Another reason they do not prosper is that they have a sneaky, subconscious feeling there is some virtue in poverty. This subconscious pattern may be due to early childhood training, superstition, or it could be based on a false interpretation of scriptures. Money and a balanced life. One time a man said to me, I am broke. I do not like money. It is the root of all evil. These statements represent a confused neurotic mind. Love of money to the exclusion of everything else will cause you to become lopsided and unbalanced. You are here to use your power or authority wisely. Some men crave power, others crave money. If you set your heart on your money, exclusively and say, money is all I want, I am going to give all my attention to amassing money, nothing else matters. You can get money and attain a fortune, but you have forgotten that you are here to lead a balanced life. You must also satisfy the hunger for peace of mind, harmony, love, joy, and perfect health. By making money your sole aim, you simply made a wrong choice. You thought that was all you wanted, but you found after all your efforts that it was not only the money you needed. You also desired true expression of your hidden talents, true place in life, beauty, and the joy of contributing to the welfare and success of others. By learning the laws of your subconscious mind, you could have $1 million or many millions if you wanted them and still have peace of mind, harmony, perfect health, and perfect expression. Poverty is a mental disease. Poverty is a mental disease. There is no virtue in poverty. It is a disease like any other mental disease. If you are physically ill, you would think there was something wrong with you. You would seek help and do something about the condition at once. Likewise, if you do not have money constantly circulating in your life, there is something radically wrong with you. The urge of life principle in you is toward growth, expansion, and the life more abundant. You are not here to live in a hovel, dress in rags, and go hungry. You should be happy, prosperous, and successful. Why you must never criticize money. Clean your mind of all weird and superstitious beliefs about money. Do not ever regard money as evil or filthy. If you do, you cause it to take wings and fly away from you. Remember that you lose what you condemn. You cannot attract what you criticize. Getting the right attitude toward money. Here is a simple technique you may use to multiply money in your experience. Use the following statements several times a day. I like money. I love it. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. Money is constantly circulating in my life. I release it with joy and it returns to me multiplied in a wonderful way. It is good and very good. Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance. I use it for good. Only if I am grateful for my good and for the riches of my mind. How the scientific thinker looks at money. Suppose, for example, you found gold, silver, lead, copper, or iron in the ground. Would you pronounce these things evil? All evil comes from man's darkened understanding, from his ignorance, from his false interpretation of life, from his misuse of his subconscious mind. Uranium, lead, or some other metal could have been used as a medium of exchange. We use paper bills, checks, nickel and silver. Surely these are not evil. Physicists and chemists know today that the only difference between the one metal and another is the number and rate of motion of electrons revolving around a central nucleus. They can now change one metal into another through a bombardment of the atoms in the powerful cyclotron. Gold under certain conditions become mercury. I believe that our modern scientists in the near future will be able to make gold, silver and other metals synthetically in the chemical laboratory. The cost may be prohibitive now, but it can be done. I cannot imagine any intelligent person seeing anything evil in electrons, neutrons, protons and isotopes. The piece of paper in your pocket is composed of atoms and molecules with their electrons and protons arranged differently. Their number and rate of motions are different. That is the only way the paper differs from the silver in your pocket. How to attract the money you need? Many years ago, I met a young boy in Australia who wanted to become a physician and surgeon, but he had no money. I explained to him how a seed deposited in the soil attracts to itself everything necessary for its unfolding, and that all he had to do was to take a lesson from the seed and deposit the required idea in his subconscious mind. For expenses, this young, brilliant boy used to clean out doctors' offices, wash windows, and do odd repair jobs. He told me that every night as he went to sleep, he used to picture in his mind's eye a medical diploma on a wall with his name on it in big, bold letters. He used to clean and shine the framed diplomas in the medical building where he worked. It was not hard for him to engrave the image of a diploma in his mind and develop it there. Definite results followed as he persisted with his mental picture every night for about 4 months. The sequel of this story was very interesting. One of the doctors took a great liking to this young boy, and after training him in the art of sterilizing instruments, giving injections and other miscellaneous first aid works, he employed him as a technical assistant in his office. The doctor later sent him to medical school at his own expense. Today, this young man is a prominent medical doctor in Montreal, Canada. In Montreal, Canada, he discovered the law of attraction by using his subconscious mind the right way. He operated an age-old law which says, having seen the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. The end in this case was to become a medical doctor. This young man was able to imagine, see, and feel the reality of being a doctor. He lived with that idea, sustained it, nourished it, and loved it until, through his imagination, it penetrated the layers of his conscious mind and became a conviction, thereby attracting to him everything necessary for the fulfillment of his dream. Why some men do not get a raise in pay? If you are working in a large organization and you are silently thinking of and resenting the fact you are underpaid, that you are not appreciated and that you deserve money, more money and greater recognition, you are subconsciously searing your ties with that organization. You are setting a law in motion, and the superintendent or manager will say to you, we have to let you go. Actually, you dismissed yourself. The manager was simply the instrument through which your own negative mental state was confirmed. It was an example of the law of action and reaction. The action was your thought and the reaction was the response of your subconscious mind. Obstacles and impediments on the pathway to riches. I am sure you have heard men say, that fellow has a rocket, he is a rocketeer. He is getting money dishonestly, he is a faker. I knew him when he had nothing. He is a crook, a thief and a swindler. If you analyze the man who talks like that, you discover he is usually in want or suffering from some financial or physical illness. Perhaps his former college friends went up the ladder of success and excelled him. Now he is bitter and envious of their progress. In many instances, this is the cause of his downfall. Thinking negatively of these classmates and condemning their wealth causes the wealth and prosperity he is praying for to vanish and flee away. He is condemning the thing he is praying for. He is praying two ways. On the one hand, he is saying, wealth is flowing to me now. And in the next breath, silently or audibly, he is saying, I resent that fellow's wealth. Always make it a special point to rejoice in the wealth of the other person. Protect your investments. If you are seeking wisdom regarding investments, or if you are worried about your stocks or bonds, quietly claim infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions, and whatsoever I do shall prosper. Do this frequently and you will find that your investment will be wise. Moreover, you will be protected from loss, as you will be prompted to sell your securities or holdings before any loss accrues to you. You cannot get something for nothing. In large stores, the management employees store detectives to prevent people from stealing. They catch a number of people every day trying to get something for nothing. All such people are living in the mental atmosphere of lack and limitation and are stealing from themselves peace, harmony, wealth, health, honesty, integrity, goodwill, and confidence. Furthermore, they are attracting to themselves all manner of loss, such as loss of character, prestige, social status, and peace of mind. These people lack faith in the source of supply and the understanding of how their minds work. If they would mentally call on the powers of their subconscious mind and claim that they are guided to their true expression, they would find work and constant supply. Then by honesty, integrity, and perseverance, they would become a credit to themselves and to society at large. Your constant supply of money. Recognizing the powers of your subconscious mind and the creative power of your thought or mental image is the way to opulence, freedom, and constant supply. Accept the abundant life in your own mind. Your mental acceptance and expectancy of wealth has its own mathematics and mechanics of expression. The mood of opulence, all things necessary for the abundant life will come to pass. Let this be your daily affirmation. Write it in your heart. I am one with the infinite riches of my subconscious mind. It is my right to be rich, happy, and successful. Money flows to me freely, copiously, and endlessly. I am forever conscious of my true worth. I give of my talents freely, and I am wonderfully blessed financially. It is wonderful. Step up this way to riches. Step up this way to riches. Be bold enough to claim that it is your right to be rich, and your deeper mind will honor your claim. You don't want just enough to go around. You want all the money. You need to do all the things you want to do. And when you want to do them, get acquainted with the riches of your subconscious mind. When money is circulating freely in your life, you are economically healthy. Look at money like the ride, and you will always have plenty of it. The ebb and flow of the tide is constant. When the tide is out, you are absolutely sure that it will return. Knowing the laws of your subconscious mind, you will always be supplied regardless of what form money takes. One reason many people simply make ends meet and never have enough money is that they condemn money. What you condemn takes wings and flies away. Do not make a god of money. It is only a symbol. Remember that the real riches are in your mind. You are here to lead a balanced life. This includes acquiring all the money you need. Don't make money your sole aim. Claim wealth, happiness, peace, true expression, and love. And personally, radiate love and goodwill to all. Then your subconscious mind will give you compound interest in all these fields of expression. There is no virtue in poverty. It is a disease of the mind, and you should heal yourself of this mental conflict or malady at once. You are not here to live in a wealth, a dress in rags, or to go hungry. You are here to lead the life more abundant. Never use the terms filthy, lucre, urge, despise money. You lose what you criticize. There is nothing good or bad, but thinking of it in either light makes it so. Repeat frequently. I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. I release it with joy, and it returns a thousandfold. Money is not evil anymore. So then, copper, lead, tin, or iron, which you may find in the ground, all evil is due to ignorance and misuse of the mind's powers. The picture, the end result in your mind causes your subconscious to respond and fulfill your mental picture. Stop trying to get something for nothing. There is no such thing as a free lunch. You must give to receive. You must give mental attention to your goals, ideals, enterprises, and your deeper mind will back you up. The key to wealth is application of the laws of the subconscious mind by interpreting it with the idea of wealth. Dear friends, you are really praiseworthy, admirable, appreciable that you are listening the truth of science to spirituality, language to literature. How our subconscious mind is the most powerful. The power of our subconscious mind. You are listening. Your subconscious mind has a partner in success. Success means successful living, a long period of peace, joy, and happiness on this plane may be termed success. The eternal experience of these qualities is the everlasting life spoken of by Jesus. The real things of life such as peace, harmony, integrity, security, and happiness are intangible. They come from the deep self of man. Meditating on these qualities builds these treasures of heaven in our subconscious. It is where mold and rust do not consume, and where thieves do not break through and steal. Matt Word 20, chapter 6, the 3 steps to success. Let us discuss 3 steps to success. The first step to success is to find out the thing you love to do, then do it. Success is in loving your work. Although if a man is psychiatrist, it is not etiquette for him to get a diploma and place it on the wall. He must keep up with the times, attend conventions, and continue studying the mind and its workings. The successful psychiatrist visits clinics and reads the latest scientific articles. In other words, he is informed in the most advanced methods of alleviating human suffering. The successful psychiatrist or doctor must have the interest of his patients at heart. Someone may say, how can I put the first step into operation? I do not know what I should do. In such a case, pray for guidance as follows. The infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me my true place in life. Repeat this prayer quietly, positively, and lovingly to your deeper mind. As you persist with faith and confidence, the answer will come to you as feeling a lunge or a tendency in a certain direction. It will come to you clearly and in peace and as an inner silent awareness. The second step to success is to specialize in some particular branch of work and know more about it than anyone else. For example, if a young man chooses chemistry as his profession, he should concentrate on one of the many branches in this field. He should give all of his time and attention to his chosen specialty. He should become sufficiently enthusiastic to try to know all there is available about his field. If possible, he should know more than anyone else. The young man should become ardently interested in his work and should desire to serve the world. He that is greatest among you, let him become your servant. There is a great contrast in the attitude of mind in comparison to that of the man who only wants to make a living or just get by. Getting by is not true success. Man's motive must be greater, nobler, and more altruistic. He must serve others, thereby casting his bread upon the waters. The third step is the most important one. You must be sure that the thing you want to do does not down to your success only. Your desire must not be selfish. It must benefit humanity. The path of a complete circuit must be formed. In other words, your ideas must go forth with the purpose of blessing or serving the world. I will then come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If it is benefit yourself exclusively, the circle or complete circuit is not formed, and you may experience a short circuit in your life which may consist of limitation or sickness. The measure of true success. Some people may say, but Mr. James made a fortune in selling fraudulent oil stock. A man may seem to succeed for a while, but the money he obtained by fraud usually takes wings and flies away. When we rob from another, we rob from ourselves because we are in a mood of lack and limitation, which may manifest itself in our body, home life and affairs. What we think and feel, we create what we believe. Even though a man may have accumulated a fortune fraudulently, he is not successful. There is no success without peace of mind. What good is man's accumulated wealth if he cannot sleep nights, is sick, or has a guilt complex? I knew a man in London who told me of his exploits. He had been a professional pickpocket and had amassed a large amount of money. He had a summer home in France and lived in a royal fashion in England. His story was that he was in constant dread of being arrested by Scotland Yard. He had many inner disorders which were undoubtedly caused by his constant fear and deep-seated guilt complex. He knew he had done wrong. This deep sense of guilt attracted all kinds of trouble to him. Subsequently, he voluntarily surrendered to the police and served a prison sentence. After his release from prison, he sought psychological and spiritual counsel and became transformed. He went to work and became an honest, law-abiding citizen. He found what he loved to do and was happy. A successful person loves his work and expresses himself fully. Success is contingent upon a higher ideal than the mere accumulation of riches. The man of success is the man who possesses great psychological and spiritual understanding. Many of the great industrialists today depend upon the correct use of their subconscious minds for their success. There was an article published some years ago about Frankler, an oil magnate. He admitted that the secret of his success was his ability to see a project in its completion. For instance, in his case, he closed his eyes, imagined a big oil industry, saw trains running on tracks, heard whistles blowing, and saw smoke. Having seen and felt the fulfillment of his prayer, his subconscious mind brought about its realization. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities in ways you know not of, through the wonder-working power of your subconscious mind. In considering the 3 steps to success, you must never forget the underlying power of the creative forces of your subconscious mind. This is the energy in back of all steps in any plan of success. In any plan of success, your thought is creative. Your thought is creative. Thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective. Faith or belief. And according to your belief, is it done unto you? Matt chapter 9, 29 word. Knowledge of a mighty force in you, which is capable of bringing to pass all your desires, gives you confidence and a sense of peace, whatever your field of action may be. You should learn the laws of your subconscious mind. When you know how to apply the powers of your mind, and when you are expressing yourself fully and giving out your talents to others, you are on the sure path to sure success. If you are about God's business or any part of it, God by His very nature is for you. So who can against you? With this understanding, there is no power in heaven or on earth to withhold success from you. How He made His dream come true. How He made his dream come true. A movie actor told him that he had very little education, but he had a dream as a boy of becoming a successful movie actor. Out in the field mowing hay, driving the cows home, or even when milking how he made his dream come true. A movie actor told me that he had very little education, but he had a dream as a boy of becoming a successful movie actor. Out in the field mowing hay, driving the cows home, or even when milking them, he said, I would constantly imagine I saw my name in big lights at a large theater. I kept this up for years until finally I ran away from home. I got extra jobs in the motion picture field. And the day finally came when I saw my name in great big lights, as I did when I was a boy. Then he added, I know the power of sustained imagination to bring success. His dream pharmacy became a reality. 30 years ago, I knew a young pharmacist who was receiving $40 a week plus commission on sales. After 25 years, he said to me, I will get a pension and retire. I said to this young man, why don't you own your own store? Get out of this place. Raise your sights. Have a dream for your children. Maybe your son wants to be a doctor. Perhaps your daughter desires to be a great musician. His answer was that he had no money. He began to awaken to the fact that whatever he could conceive as true, he could give conception. The first step toward his goal was his awakening to the powers of his subconscious mind, which I briefly elaborated on for his benefit. His second step was his realization that if he could succeed in conveying an idea to his subconscious mind, he later would somehow bring it to pass. He began to imagine that he was in his own store. He mentally arranged the bottles, dispensed prescriptions, and imagined several clerks in the store waiting on customers. He also visualized a big bank balance. Mentally, he walked in that imaginary store like a good actor. He lived the role. Act as though I am and I will be. This pharmacist put himself wholeheartedly into the act, living, moving, and acting on the assumption that he owned the store. The sequel was interesting. He was discharged from his position. He found new employment with a large chain store, became manager and large own district manager. He saved enough money in 4 years to provide a down payment on a drug store of his own. He called it his dream pharmacy. It was, he said, exactly the store I saw in my imagination. He became a recognized success in his chosen field and was happy doing what he loved to do. Using the subconscious mind in business. Some years ago, I gave a lecture to a group of businessmen on the powers of imagination and the subconscious mind. In this lecture, I pointed out how Goethe used his imagination wisely when confronted with difficulties and predicaments. His biographies point out that he was accustomed to fill many hours quietly, holding imaginary conversation. It is well known that his custom was to imagine one of his friends before him in a chair, answering him in the right way. In other words, if he were concerned over any problems, he imagined his friend giving him the right or appropriate answer, accompanied with the usual gestures and tonal qualities of the voice, and he made the entire imaginary scene as real and as vivid as possible. One of the men present at this lecture was a young stockbroker. He proceeded to adopt the technique of Goethe. He began to have mental imaginary conversation with a multimillionaire banker friend of his who used to congratulate him on his wise and sound judgment and compliment him on his purchase of the right stocks. He used He used to dramatize this imaginary conversation until he had psychologically fixed it as a form of belief in his mind. This broker's inner talking and controlled imagination certainly agreed with him with his aim, which was to make sound investment for his clients. His main purpose in life was to make money for his clients and to see them prosper financially by his wise counsel. He is still using his subconscious mind in his business, and he is a brilliant success in his field of endeavor. Boy of fixing years turned failure into success. A young boy who was attending high school said to me, "I am getting very poor grades. I am getting very poor grades. My memory is failing. I do not know what is the matter." I discovered that the only thing wrong with this boy was his attitude, which was one of indifference and resentment towards some of his teachers and fellow students. I taught him how to use his subconscious mind and how to succeed in his studies. He began to affirm certain truths several times a day, particularly at night and also in the morning after awakening. These are the best times to impregnate the subconscious mind. He affirmed as follows: "I realize that my subconscious mind is a storehouse of memory. It retains everything I read and hear from my teachers. I have a perfect memory, and the infinite intelligence in my subconscious mind constantly reveals to me everything I need to know at all my examinations, whether written or oral. I radiate love and goodwill to all my teachers and fellow students. I sincerely wish for them success and all good things." This young man is now enjoying a greater freedom than he has ever known. He is now receiving all A's. He constantly imagines the teachers and his mother congratulating him on his success in his studies. How to become successful in buying and selling? Dear friends, those who are doing any kind of business, they must listen carefully for the successful trade and business. In buying and selling, remember that your conscious mind is the starter and your subconscious mind is the motor. You must start motor to enable it to perform its work. Your conscious mind is the dynamo that awakens the power of your subconscious mind. The first step in conveying your clarified desire, idea or image to the deeper mind is to relax. Immobilize the attention, get still and be quiet. Be quiet. This quiet, relaxed and peaceful attitude of mind prevents extraneous matter and false ideas from interfering with your mental absorption of your ideal. Furthermore, in the quiet, passive and receptive attitude of mind, effort is reduced to a minimum. The second step is to begin to imagine the reality of that which you desire. For example, you may wish to buy a home and in your relaxed state of mind affirm as follows: infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind is all wise. It reveals to me now the ideal home, which its central ideal is in a lovely environment, meets with all my requirements and is commensurate with my income. I am now turning this request over to my subconscious mind and I know it responds according to the nature of my request. I release this request with absolute faith and confidence in the same way that a farmer deposits a seed in the ground, trusting implicitly in the laws of growth. The answer to your prayer may come through an advertisement in the paper, through a friend, or you may be guided directly to a particular home which is exactly what you are seeking. There are many ways by which your prayer may be answered. The principal knowledge in which you may place your confidence is that the answer always comes, provided you trust and working of your deeper mind. You may wish to sell a home, land or any kind of prosperity, any kind of property in private consultation with real estate brokers. I have told them of the way I sold my own home on Orlando Avenue in Los Angeles. Many of them have applied the technique I used with remarkable and speedy results. I placed a sign which read, "For sale by owner," in the garden in front of my home. The day after I said to myself as I was going to sleep, supposing you sold your house, what would you do? I answered my own question and I said, I would take that sign down and throw it into the garage. In my imagination, I took hold of the sign, pulled it up from the ground, placed it on my shoulder, went to the garage, threw it on the floor, and said jokingly to the sign, I don't need you anymore. I felt the inner satisfaction of it all, realizing it was finished. The next day, a man gave me a deposit of $1,000 and said to me, take your sign down. Take your sign down and you will go into escrow now. Immediately, I pulled the sign up and took it to the garage. The outer action conformed to the inner. There is nothing new about this. As within, so without, meaning according to the image impressed on your subconscious mind, so it is on the objective screen of your life. The outside mirrors the inside. External action follows internal action. Here is another very popular method used in selling homes, land or any kind of property. Affirm slowly, quietly and feelingly as follows. Infinite intelligence attracts to me the buyer for this home who wants it and who prospers in it. This buyer is being sent to me by the creative intelligence of my subconscious mind, which makes no mistakes. This buyer may look at any other home, but mine is the only one he wants and will buy because he is guided by the infinite intelligence within him. I know the buyer is right, the time is right, and the pride is right. Everything about it is right. The deeper current of my subconscious mind are now in operation, bringing both of us together, the divine order. I know that it is so. Remember always that what you are seeking is also seeking you. And whenever you want to sell a home or property of any kind, there is always someone who wants you to have an offer by using the powers of your subconscious mind correctly. You free your mind of all sense of competition and anxiety in buying and selling. How she succeeded in getting what she wanted. There is a young lady who regularly comes to my lectures and classes. She had to change buses 3 times. It took her 1.5 hours each time to come to the lectures. In one lecture I explained how a young man who needed a car in his work received one. She went home and experimented as outlined in my lecture. Here is her letter in part, narrating her application of my method and published by her permission. Dear Dr. Murphy, dear Dr. Rakesh, this is how I received a Cadillac car. I wanted one to come to the lectures regularly. In my imagination, I went through the identical process I would go through if I were actually driving a car. I went to the showroom and the salesman took me off a ride in one. I also drove it several blocks. I claimed the Cadillac car as my own over and over again. I kept the mental picture of getting into the car, driving it, filling up the whole story, etc. constantly for over 2 weeks. Last week I drove to your lectures in a Cadillac. My uncle in Inglewood passed away and left me his Cadillac and his entire estate. A success technique employed by many outstanding executives and businessmen. There are many prominent businessmen who quietly use the abstract term success over and over, many times a day, until they reach a conviction that success is theirs. They know that the idea of success contains all the essential elements of success. Likewise, you can begin now to repeat the word success to yourself with faith and conviction. Your subconscious mind will accept it as true of you, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed. You are compelled to express your subjective beliefs, impressions and convictions. What does success imply to you? You want undoubtedly to be successful in your home life and in your relationship with others. You wish to be outstanding in your chosen work or profession. You wish to possess a beautiful home and all the money you need to live comfortably and happily. You want to be successful in your prayers life and in your contact with the powers of your subconscious mind. You are a businessman also because you are in the business of living. Become a successful businessman by imagining yourself doing what you long to do and possessing the thing you long to possess. Become imaginative. Mentally participate in the reality of the successful state. Make a habit of it. Go to sleep feeling successful every night and perfectly satisfied, and you will be eventually succeed in implanting the idea of success in your subconscious mind. Believe you are born to succeed, and wonders will happen as you pray. Profitable pointers. Success means successful living. When you are peaceful, happy, joyous and doing what you love to do, you are successful. Find out what you love to do and then do it. If you don't know your true expression, ask your guidance and the lead will come. Specialize in your particular field and try to know more about it than anyone else. A successful man is not selfish. His main desire in life is to serve humanity. There is no true success without peace of mind. A successful man possesses great psychological and spiritual understanding. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities through the wonder-working power of your subconscious mind. Your thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective belief, and according to your belief is it done unto you. The power of sustained imagination draws forth the miracles working powers of your subconscious mind. If you are seeking promotions in your work, imagine your employees, supervisor or loved one congratulating you on your promotion. Make the picture vivid and real. Hear the voice, see the gestures and feel the reality of it all. Continue to do this frequently, and through frequently occupancy of your mind, you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. Your subconscious mind is a storehouse of memory. For a perfect memory, affirm frequently the infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me everything I need to know at all times, everywhere. If you wish to sell a home or property of any kind, affirm slowly, quietly and feelingly as follows. Infinite intelligence attracts to me the buyer for this house or property who wants it and who prospers it. Sustain this awareness and the deeper currents of your subconscious mind will bring it to pass. The idea of success contains all the elements of success. Repeat the word success to yourself frequently with faith and conviction, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed. Dear friends, our next topic is scientists use the subconscious mind. Very interesting topic that we are starting now. All our scholars and learners of the different universities all over the world are listening. They must listen fundamentally and basically, clearly, what are the fundamentals of our higher, reputed, and well-recognized, well-esteemed jobs of our life. Many scientists realize the true importance of the subconscious mind. Edison, Marconi, Kettering, Poincare, Einstein, and many others have used the subconscious mind. It has given them the insight and the know-how for all their great achievements in modern science and industry. Research has shown that the ability to bring into action the subconscious power has determined the success of all the great scientific and research workers. An instance of how a famous chemist, Friedrich von Stradonitz, used his subconscious mind to solve his problem is as follows. He had been working laboriously for a long time trying to rearrange the 6 carbon and the 6 hydrogen atoms of the benzene formula, and he was constantly perplexed and unable to solve the matter. Tired and exhausted, he turned the request over completely to his subconscious mind. Shortly afterward, as he was about to board a London bus, his subconscious presented his conscious mind with a sudden flash of a snake biting its own tail and turning around like a pinwheel. This answer from his subconscious mind gave him the long sought answer. The long sought answer of the circular rearrangement of the atoms that is known as Benjamin ring. How a distinguished scientist brought forth his inventions. Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was a brilliant electrical scientist who brought forth the most amazing innovations. When an idea for a new invention came into his mind, he would build it up in his imagination, knowing that its subconscious mind would reconstruct and reveal to his conscious mind all the parts needed for its manufacture in concrete form. Though quietly contemplating every possible improvement, he spent no time in correcting defects and was able to give the technicians the perfect product of his mind. He said invariably, "My device works as I imagined it should be, as I imagined it should." In 20 years there has not been a single exception. How a famous naturalist solved his problem. Professor Agassiz, a distinguished American naturalist, discovered the indefatigable activities of his subconscious mind while he slept. His widow, in her biography of her famous husband, has reported the following. He had been for 2 weeks striving to decipher the somewhat obscure impression of a fossil fish on the stone slab in which it was preserved. Weary and perplexed, he put his work aside at last and tried to dismiss it from his mind. Shortly after, he waked one night, persuaded that while asleep he had seen his face with all the missing features perfectly restored. But when he tried to hold and make fast, the image escaped from him. Nevertheless, he went early to the Jardin planets, thinking that on looking anew at the impression, he should see something which would put him on the track of his vision. In vain. The blundered record was as black as ever. The next night he saw the fish again, but with no more satisfactory result. When he awoke, a disappeared from his memory as before, hoping that the same experience might be repeated. On the third night, he placed a pencil and paper beside his bed before going to sleep. Accordingly, toward morning, the fish reappeared in his dream, confusedly at first, but at last with such distinctness that he had no longer any doubt as to its zoological characters. Still half dreaming, in perfect darkness, he traced these characters on the sheet of paper at the bedside. In the morning, he was surprised to see in each nocturnal sketch features, which he thought it impossible the fossil itself should reveal. He hastened to the Jardin planters and with his drawing as a guide succeeded in chiseling away the surface of the stone under which portions of the fish proved to be hidden. When wholly exposed, it corresponded with his dream and his drawing, and he succeeded in classifying it with ease. An outstanding physician solved the problem of diabetes. An outstanding physician solved the problem of diabetes. Some years ago, I received a clipping from a magazine describing the origin of the discovery of insulin. This is the essence of the article as I recall it. About 40 years ago or more, Dr. Frederick Banting, a brilliant Canadian physician and surgeon, was concentrating his attention on the ravages of diabetes. At that time, medical science offered no effective method of arresting the disease. Dr. Banting spent considerable time experimenting and studying the international literature on the subject. One night he was exhausted and fell asleep. While asleep, his subconscious mind induced him to extract the residue from the degenerated pancreatic duct of ducts. This was the origin of insulin, which has helped millions of people. You will note that Dr. Banting had been consciously dwelling on the problem for some time, seeking a solution, a way out, and his subconscious responded accordingly. It does not follow that you will always get an answer overnight. The answer may not come for some time. Do not be disgraced. Keep on turning the problem over every night to the subconscious mind prior to sleep, as if you had never done it before. One of the reasons for the delay may be that you look upon it as a major problem. You may believe it will take a long time to solve it. Your subconscious mind is timeless and spaceless. Go to sleep believing you have the answer now. Do not postulate the answer in the future. Have an abiding faith in the outcome. Become convinced now as you read this book that there is an answer and a perfect solution for you. How a famous scientist and physicist escaped from a Russian concentration camp. Dr. Lothar von Blank Sukhmedit, a member of the Rocket Society and an outstanding research electronic engineer, gives the following condensed summary of how he used his subconscious mind to flee himself from certain death at the hands of brutal guards in a Russian prison camp coal mine. He states as follows: I was a prisoner of war in a coal mine in Russia, and I saw men dying all around me in that prison compound. We were watched over by brutal guards, arrogant officers, and sharp, fast-thinking commissioners. After a short medical checkup, a quota of coal was assigned to each person. My quota was 300 pounds per day in case any man did not fill his quota. His small food ration was cut down, and in a short time he was resting in the cemetery. I started concentrating on my escape. I knew that my conscious mind would somehow find a cue. My home in Germany was destroyed. My family wiped out. All my friends and former associates were either killed in the war or were in concentration camps. I said to my subconscious mind, I want to go to Los Angeles. And you will find the way. I had seen pictures of Los Angeles and I have remembered. I remembered some of the boulevards very well as some of the buildings. Every day and night I would imagine I was walking down Wilshire Boulevard with an American girl whom I met in Berlin prior to the war. In my imagination, we would visit the stores, ride buses, and eat in the restaurants. Every night I made it a special point to drive my imaginary American automobile up and down The boulevards of Los Angeles, I made all the vivid and real. These pictures in my mind were as real and as natural to me as one of the trees outside the prison camp. Every morning, the chief guard would count the prisoners as they were lined up. He would call out 1, 2, 3, etc. And when 17 was called out, which was my number in sequence, I stepped aside. In the meanwhile, the guard was called away for a minute or so. And on his return, he stared. On his return, he started by mistake on the next man as number 17. When the crew returned in the evening, the number of men was the same, and I was not missed, and the discovery would take a long time. I walked out of the camp undetected and kept walking for 24 hours. Resting in a deserted town the next day, I was able to live by fishing and killing some wildlife. I found coal trains going to Poland and traveled on them by night until finally I reached Poland. With the help of friends, I made my way to Lucerne, Switzerland. One evening at the Paris Hotel Lucerne, I had a talk with a man and his wife from the United States of America. This man asked me if I would care to be a guest at his home in Santa Monica, California. I accepted and went. And when I arrived in Los Angeles, I found that their chauffeur drove me along. Wilshire Boulevard and many other boulevards which I had imagined so vividly in the long months in the Russian coal mines. I recognized the buildings which I had seen in my mind so often. It actually seemed as if I had been in Los Angeles before I had reached my goal. I will never cease to marvel at the wonders of the subconscious mind. Truly it has ways we know not of. How archaeologists and paleontologists reconstruct ancient scenes. These scientists know that their subconscious mind has a memory of everything that has ever transpired. As they study the ancient ruins and fossils, through their imaginative perception, their subconscious mind aids them in reconstructing the ancient scenes. The dead past becomes alive and audible once more, looking at these ancient temples and studying the pottery, statuary, tools and household utensils of these ancient times. The scientists tell us of an age when there was no language. Communication was done by grunts, grounds and signs. The keen concentration and disciplined imagination of the scientist awakens the latent powers of his subconscious mind, enabling him to clothe the ancient temples with roofs and surrounded them with garden, pools and fountains. The fossil remains are clothed with eyes, sinews and muscles, and they again walk and talk. The past becomes the living present, and we find that in mind there is no time or space. Though disciplined, controlled and directed imagination, you can be a companion of the most scientific and inspired thinkers of all time. How to receive guidance from your subconscious when you have what you term a different decision to make, or when you fail to see the solution to your problem. begin at once to think constructively about it. If you are fearful and worried, you are not really thinking. True thinking is free from fear. Here is a simple technique you can use to receive guidance on any subject. Quiet the mind and still the body. Tell the body to relax. It has to obey you. It has no volition, initiative or self-conscious intelligence. Your body is an emotional disk. You record your beliefs and impressions. Mobilize your attention. Focus your thought on the solution to your problem. Try to solve it with your conscious mind. Think how happy you would be about the perfect solution. Sense the feeling you would have if the perfect answer were yours now. Let your mind play with this mood in a relaxed way. Then drop off to sleep when you awaken and woke and you do not have the answer. Get busy about something else. Probably when you are preoccupied with something else, the answer will come into your mind like toast pops out of a toaster. In receiving guidance from the subconscious mind, the simple way is the best. This is an illustration. I once lost a valuable ring, which was an heirloom. I looked everywhere for it and could not locate it. At night I talked to the subconscious in the same manner that I would talk to anyone. I said to it prior to dropping off to sleep, you know all things, you know where that ring is, and you now reveal to me where it is. In the morning I awoke suddenly with the words ringing in my ear, ask Robert. I thought it very strange that I should ask Robert, a young boy about 9 years of age. However, I followed the inner voice of intuition. Robert said, oh yes, I picked it up in the yard while I was playing with the boys. I placed it on the desk in my room. I did not think it worth anything, so I did not say anything about it. The subconscious mind will always answer you if you trust it. Dear friends, your presence is praiseworthy and admirable. May God bless us for recreating the power of words that is provided by our own holy religions. Its subconscious revealed the location of his father's will. Its subconscious revealed the location of his father's will. A young man who attends my lecture had this experience. His father died and apparently left no will. However, this man's sister told him that their father had confided to her that a will had been executed, which was fair to all. Every attempt to locate the will failed. Every attempt to locate the will failed. Prior to sleep, he talked to his deeper mind as follows. I now turn this request over the subconscious mind. It knows just where that will is and reveals it to me. Then he condensed his request down to one word answer, repeating it over and over again as a lullaby. He lulled himself to sleep with the word answer. The next morning, this young man had an overpowering hunch to go to a certain bank in Los Angeles, where he found a safe deposit wallet registered in the name of his father, the contents of which solved all his problems. Your thought as you go to sleep arouses the powerful latency which is within you. For example, let us suppose you are wondering whether to sell your home, buy a certain stock, sever partnership, move to New York or stay in Los Angeles. Dissolve the present contact or take a new one. Do this. Sit quietly in your armchair or at the desk in your office. Remember that there is a universal law of action and reaction. The action is your thought. The reaction is the response from your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is reactive and reflexive. This is its nature. It rebounds, rewards, and repays. It is a law of correspondence. It responds by corresponding. As you contemplate right action, you will automatically experience a reaction or response in yourself, will present the guidance or answer to your subconscious mind in seeking guidance. You simply think quietly about right action, which means that you are using the infinite intelligence resident in the subconscious mind to the point where it begins to use you. From there on, your course of action is directed and controlled by the subjective wisdom within you, which is all wise. And omnipotent. Your decision will be right. There will only be right action because you are under a subjective compulsion to do the right thing. I use the word compulsion because the law of the subconscious is compulsion. The secret of guidance. What is the secret of guidance? Dear brothers, dear friends, those who are sitting, listening, speaking, reading and writing from the different universities of the world, they are really praiseworthy and admirable. It is really a useful moment of life. They are spending in listening the useful words of their life. The secret of guidance. The secret of guidance or right action is to mentally devote yourself to the right answer until you find its response in you. The response is a feeling, an inner awareness, an overpowering hunch whereby you know that you know. You have used the power to the point where it begins to use you. You cannot possibly fail to make one false step while operating under the subjective wisdom within you. You will find that all your ways are pleasantness and all your paths are peace. Dear friends, dear presence, as highlights to recall, remember that the subconscious determine the success and wonderful achievements of all great scientific workers. By giving your conscious attention and devotion to the solution of a perplexing problem, your subconscious mind gathers all the necessary information and presents it full blown to the conscious mind. If you are wondering about the answer to a problem, try to solve it objectively. Get all the information you can from research and also from others. If no answer comes, turn it over to your subconscious mind prior to sleep, and the answer always comes. It never fails. You do not always get the answer overnight. Keep on turning your request over to your subconscious until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. You delay the answer by thinking it will take a long time or that it is a major problem. Your subconscious has no problem. It knows only the answer. Believe that you have the answer now. Feel the joy of the answer and the way you would feel if you had the perfect answer. Your subconscious will respond to you. Your subconscious will respond to your feeling. Any mental picture backed by faith and perseverance will come to pass through the miracle working power of your subconscious. Trust it, believe in its power, and wonders will happen as you pray. Your subconscious is the storehouse of memory, and within your subconscious are recorded all your experiences since childhood. Scientists meditating an ancient scroll temples, fossils, etc. are able to reconstruct scenes of the past and make them alive today. Their subconscious mind comes to their aid. Turn over your request for a solution to your subconscious prior to sleep. Trust it and believe in it, and the answer will come. It knows all and sees all, but you must not doubt or question its powers. The action is your thought, and the reaction is the response of your subconscious mind. If your thoughts are wise, your actions and decisions will be wise. Guidance comes as a feeling, an inner awareness, an overpowering hunch. Hereby you know that you know. It is an inner sense of touch. Follow it. Dear friends, next topic that we are going to read now, it is really important and knowledgeable, informative, instructive and directive for our all scholars and learners, those who are sitting and listening, watching, very useful moment of their life. Your subconscious and the wonders of sleep. You spend about 8 out of every 24 hours. You spend about 8 out of every 24 hours, or 1/3 of your entire life in sleep. This is an inexorable law of life. Inexorable law of life. This also applies to the animal and vegetable kingdoms. Sleep is a divine law, and many answers to our problems come to us when we are sound asleep upon the bed. Many people have advocated the theory that you get tired during the day, that you go to sleep on rest, that you go to sleep to rest the body, and that a reparative process takes place while you sleep. Nothing rests in sleep. Your heart, lungs and all your vital organs function while you are asleep. If you eat prior to sleep, the food is digested and assimilated. Also your skin secretes perspiration and your nails and hair continues to grow. Your subconscious mind never rests or sleeps. It is always active, controlling all your vital forces. The healing process takes place more rapidly while you are asleep, as there is no interference from your conscious mind. Remarkable answers are given to you while you are asleep. Why we sleep? Dr. John Bigelow, a famous research authority on sleep, demonstrated that at night while asleep you receive impressions showing that the nerves of the eyes, ears, nose and taste buds are active during sleep, and also that the nerves of your brain are quite active. He says that the main reason we sleep is because the nobler part of the soul is united by abstraction to our higher nature and becomes a participant in the wisdom and foreknowledge of the gods. Dr. Bigelow states that also the results of my studies have not only strengthened my convictions that the supposed exemption from customary toils and activities was not the final purpose of sleep, but have also made clearer to my mind the conviction that no part of a man's life deserves to be considered more indispensable to its symmetrical and perfect spiritual development than the while he is separated from the phenomenal word in sleep. Prayer, a form of sleep. Your conscious mind gets involved with vexations, strife, and concentration of the day, and it is very necessary to withdraw periodically from sense evidence and the objective world and commune silently with the inner wisdom of your subconscious mind. By claiming guidance, strength, and greater intelligence in all phases of your life, you will be enabled to overcome all difficulties and solve your daily problem. This regular withdrawal from sense evidence and the noise and confusion of everyday living is also a form of sleep. That is, you become asleep to the word of the senses and alive to the wisdom and power of your subconscious mind. Dear friends, you are listening next. Startling effects of sleep deprivation. Startling effects of sleep deprivation. Lack of sleep can cause you to become irritable, moody, and distressed, depressed. Dr. George Stevenson of the National Association for Mental Health says, I believe it can safely be said that all human beings need a minimum of 6 hours sleep to be healthy. Most people need more. Those who think they can get along on less are fooling themselves. Medical research scholars investigating sleep processes and deprivation of sleep point out that severe insomnia had preceded psychotic breakdown in some instances. Remember, you are spiritually recharged during sleep, and adequate sleep is essential to produce joy and vitality in life. You need more sleep. Robert O'Brien in an article, maybe you need more sleep, in an issue of the Reader's Digest, reports the following experiment on sleep. For the last 3 years, experiments have been in progress at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research in Washington, D.C. Subjects, more than 100 military and civilian volunteers, have been kept awake for as long as 4 days. Thousands of tests have measured the effects on their behavior and personality. Results of those tests have given scientists astonishingly new insights into the mysteries of sleep. They now know that the tired brain apparently craves sleep so hungrily that it will sacrifice anything to get it. After only a few hours of sleep follows fleeting stolen naps called lapses or microsleep occurred at the rate of 3 or 4 an hour, as in real sleep. Eyelids dropped, heart beat slowed. Each lapse lasted just a fraction of a second. Sometimes the lapses were periods of blankness. Sometimes they were filled with images, wisp of dreams, as hours of sleep close. Hours of sleep close, monuments mounted. The lapses took place more often and lasted longer, perhaps 2 or 3 seconds. Even if the subjects had been piloting an airliner in a thunderstorm, they still couldn't have resisted microsleeps for those few priceless seconds, and it can happen to you, as many who have fallen asleep at the wheel of a car can testify. Another sterling effect of sleep deprivation was its attack on human memory and perception. Many sleep-deprived subjects were unable to retain information long enough to relate it to the task they were supposed to perform. They were totally befuddled in situation requiring them to hold several factors in mind and act on them. As a pilot must when he skillfully integrates wind direction, air speed, altitude and glide path to make a safe landing. Sleep brings counsel. A young lady in Los Angeles who listens to my morning radio talks told me that she had been offered a lucrative position in New York City at twice her present salary. She was wondering whether to accept or not and prayed prior to sleep as follows. The creative intelligence of my subconscious mind knows what is best for me. Its tendency is always lifeward, and it reveals to me the right decision, which blesses all concerned. I give thanks for the answer, which I know all come to me. She repeated this simple prayer over and over again as a lullaby prior to sleep, and in the morning she had a persistent feeling that she should not accept the offer. She rejected the offer, and subsequent events verified her inward sense of knowing because the company went bankrupt in a few months following their offer of employment to her. The conscious mind may be correct on the facts objectively known, but the intuitive faculty of our conscious mind saw the failure of the concern in question and prompted her accordingly. Uncounted, unrelentingly, unceasingly, unstoppably, our scholars and learners are busy in listening the truth of science and spirituality from language to literature. It is really praiseworthy. It is the great blessing and grace of the God or our President Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has provided the wonderful opportunity to our learners and scholars for performing words through live and online programs. Saved from certain disaster. I will illustrate how the wisdom of your subconscious mind can instruct you and protect you relative to your request for right action as you go to sleep. Many years ago, before the Second World War, I was offered a very lucrative assignment in the Orient, and I prayed for guidance and the right decision as follows. Infinite intelligence within me knows all things, and the right decision is revealed to me in divine order. I will recognize the answer when it comes. I repeated this simple prayer over and over again as a lullaby prayer to sleep, and in a dream came the vivid realization of things to come. 3 years hence, an old friend appeared in the dream and said, "Read these headlines. Do not go." The headlines of the newspaper which appeared in the dream related to war and the attack on Pearl Harbor. Occasionally, the writer dreams literally. The aforementioned dream was undoubtedly a dramatization of the subconscious mind which projected a person whom I trusted and respected to some a warning may come in the form of a mother who appears in a dream. She tells the reason, she tells the person not to go here, not to go here or there, and the reason for the warning. Your subconscious mind is all wise. It knows all things. Oftentimes, It will speak to you only in a voice that your conscious mind will immediately accept as true. Sometimes your subconscious will warn you in a voice which sounds like that of your mother or some loved one, which may cause you to stop on the street and you find if you had gone another foot, a falling object from a wisdom might have struck you on the head. You might. My subconscious mind is one with the universal subconscious. And it knew the Japanese were planning a war, and it also knew when the war would start. Dr. Ryan, Director of the Department of Psychology at Duke University, has gathered together a vast amount of evidence showing that a great number of people all over the world see events before they happen, and in many instances are therefore able to avoid the tragic event which was foreseen vividly in a dream. The dream which I had so clearly, the headlines in the New York Times about 3 years prior to the tragedy of Pearl Harbor. In consequence of this dream, I immediately cancelled the trip as I felt a subconscious compulsion to do so. 3 years later, the Second World War proved the truth of the inner voice of intuition. Your future is in your subconscious mind. Remember that. The future, the result of your habitual thinking, is already in your mind, except when you change it through prayer. The future of a country, likewise, is in the collective subconscious of the people of that nation. There is nothing strange in the dream I had wherein I saw the headlines of the New York newspapers long before the war began. The war had already taken place in mind, and all the plans of the attack were already engraved on the great recording instrument, the subconscious mind or the collective subconscious of the universal mind. Tomorrow's events are in your subconscious mind, so are next week's and next month's, and they may be seen by a highly psychic or clairvoyant person. No disaster or tragedy can happen to you if you decide to pray. Nothing is predetermined or foreordained. Your mental attitude, that is the way you think, feel and believe, determines your destiny. You can, through scientific prayer, which is explained in a previous chapter, mold, fashion and create your own future. And create your own future. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. A cat nets him $15,000. One of my students mailed me a newspaper clipping 3 or 4 years ago about a man called Ray Hammerstrom, a roller at the steel works in Pittsburgh, appeared by Jones and Laughlin Steel Corporation. He received $15,000 for his dream. According to the article, the engineers could not fix a faulty switch in a newly installed bar mill, which controlled the delivery of state bars to the cooling beds. The engineers worked on the switch about 11 or 12 times to no avail. Hammerstone thought a lot about the problem and tried to figure out a new design which might work. Nothing worked. One afternoon, he lay down for a nap, and prior to sleep, he began to think about the answer to the switch problem. He had a dream in which a perfect design for the switch was portrayed. When he awoke, he sketched his new designs according to the outline of his dream. This visionary catnapped one Hammerstone a check for $15,000, the largest award the firm ever gave an employee for a new idea. How a famous professor solved his problem in sleep. Dr. H.V. Halprecht, professor of Assyrian at the University of Pennsylvania, wrote as follows one Saturday evening. I had been wearying myself in the vain attempt to decipher two small fragments of agate which were supposed to belong to the finger rings of some Babylonians. About midnight, weary and exhausted, I went to bed and dreamed the following remarkable dream. A tall, thin priest of Nippur, about 40 years of age, led me to treasure chamber of the temple, a small, low, ceilinged room without windows, while scraps of agate and lapis lazuli lay scattered on the floor. Here he addressed me as follows: the two fragments which you have published separately on pages 22 and 26 belong together are not finger rings. The first two rings served as earrings for the statue of the god. The two fragments dash are portions of them. If you will put them together, you will have confirmation of my words dash. I awoke at once dash. I examined the fragments dash, and to my astonishment found the dream verified. The problem was then at last solved. This demonstrates clearly the creative manifestation of his subconscious mind, which knew the answer to all his problem. How the subconscious worked for a famous writer while he slept. Robert Louis Stevenson, in one of his books, Across the Plains, devotes a whole chapter to dreams. He was a vivid dreamer and has the persistent habit of giving specific instructions to his subconscious every night prior to sleep. He would request his subconscious to evolve stories for him while he slept. For example, if Stevenson's funds were at low ebb, his command to his subconscious would be something like this: give me a good thrilling novel which will be marketable and profitable. His subconscious responded magnificently. Stevenson says, these the intelligences and powers of his subconscious can tell me a story piece by piece, like a serial, and keep me, its supposed creator, all the while in total ignorance of where they aim. And he added, that part of my work which is done when I am up and about, it by no means necessarily mine, since all goes to show that the brownies have a hand in it even then. Sleep in peace, Sleep in peace and wake in joy. To those who suffer from insomnia, you will find the following. Prayer very effective. Repeat it quietly and lovingly prior to sleep. My toes are relaxed. My toes are relaxed, my ankles are relaxed, my abdominal muscles are relaxed, my heart and lungs are relaxed, my hands and arms are relaxed, my neck is relaxed, my brain is relaxed, my face is relaxed, my eyes are relaxed, my whole mind and body are relaxed. I fully and freely forgive everyone, and I sincerely wish for them harmony, health, peace, and all the blessings of me. I am at peace, I am poised, serene and calm. I rest in security and in peace. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being as I realize the divine presence within me. I know that the realization of life and love healed me. I weep myself in the mantle of love and fall asleep filled with goodwill for all. Throughout the night, peace remains with me, and in the morning I shall be filled with life and love. A circle of love is drawn around me. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I sleep in peace, I wake in joy, and in Him I live, move, and have my being. Dear friends, you are listening the next topic, summary of your aids to the wonders of sleep. If you are worried that you will wake up on time, suggest to your subconscious mind prior to sleep the exact time you will to arise, and it will awaken you. It needs no cloak. Do the same thing with all problem. There is nothing too hard for your subconscious. Your subconscious never sleeps. It is always on the job. It controls all your vital function. Forgive yourself and everyone else before you go to sleep, and healing will take place, and much more rapidly. Guidance is given you while you are asleep. Sometimes in your dream, the healing currents are also released, and in the morning you feel refreshed and rejuvenated. When troubled by vexation and strife of the day, still the wheels of your mind and think about the wisdom and intelligence lost in your subconscious mind, which is ready to respond to you. This will give you peace, strength, and confidence. Sleep is essential for peace of mind and health of body. Lack of sleep can cause irritation, depression, and mental distortion. You need 8 hours sleep. Medical research scholars point out that insomnia precedes psychotic breakdowns. You are spiritually recharged during sleep. Adequate sleep is essential for joy and vitality in life. Your tired brain craves sleep too hungrily that it will sacrifice anything to get it. Many who have fallen asleep at the wheel of an automobile can testify to this. Dear friends, very knowledgeable, informative, and instructive words, thoughts, ideas you are getting from science to spirituality. From the truth of science to spirituality, our all patients, serious or other patients. They may be healed by listening these words that are curative and curable. Many deprived people have poor memories and lack proper coordination. They become befuddled, confused, and disoriented. Sleep brings counsel. Prior to sleep, claim that the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind is guiding and directing you. Then watch for the lead which comes perhaps on awakening. Trust your subconscious completely. Trust your consciousness, subconscious completely. Know that its tendency is always lifeward. Occasionally, your subconscious answers you in a very vivid dream and a vision in the night. You can be forewarned in a dream in the same way as the author of this book was warned. Your future is in your mind now based on your habitual thinking and belief. Claim infinite intelligence leads and guides you, and that all good is yours, and your future will be wonderful. Believe it and accept it. Expect the best, and invariably the best will come to you. If you are writing a novel, play or book, or are working on an invention, speak to your subconscious mind at night and claim boldly that its wisdom, intelligence and power are guiding, revealing the perfect solution, directing, revealing to you the ideal play, novel, book, or revealing the perfect solution, whatever it may be. Wonders will happen as you pray this way. Dear friends, all of you are really praiseworthy and admirable that you are listening very important concept of education through educational technology which is based on creativity and imagination. Your subconscious mind and marital problems. Ignorance of the functions and powers of the mind is the cause of all marital trouble. Ignorance of the functions and powers of the mind is the cause of all marital trouble. Each using the law of mind correctly can solve friction between husband and wife. By praying together, they stay together. The contemplation of divine ideals, the study of the laws of life, the mutual agreement on a common purpose and plan, and the enjoyment of personal freedom bring about that harmonious marriage, that wedded bliss, that sense of oneness where the two becomes one. To prevent divorce is before marriage. It is not wrong to try to get out of a very bad situation. But why get into the bad situation in the first place? Would it not be better to give attention to the real cause of marital problems? In other words, to really get at the root of the matter involved. As with all other problems of man and women, the problems of divorce, separation, annulment, and endless litigation are directly traceable to lack of knowledge of the working and interrelationship of the conscious and subconscious mind. Dear friends, pay your heed concentration on these words. The meaning of marriage. You are listening the meaning of marriage. Marriage to be real must first to be on a spiritual basis. It must be of the heart, and the heart is the cherish of love. Honesty, sincerity, kindness and integrity are also forms of love. Each partner should be perfectly honest and sincere with the other. It is not a true marriage when a man marries a woman for her money, social position, or to life his ego. Because this indicates a lack of sincerity, honesty, and true love. Such a marriage is a farce. Such a marriage is a farce, a shame, and a masquerade. When a woman says, I am tired working, I want to get married because I want security, her premise is false. She is not using the laws of mind correctly. Her security depends upon her knowledge of the interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind and its application. For example, a woman will never lack for wealth or health if she applies the techniques outlined in the respective chapters of his book. Her wealth can come to her independent of her husband, father or anyone else. A woman is not dependent on her husband for health, peace, joy, inspiration, guidance, love, wealth, security, happiness, or anything in the world. Her security and peace of mind come from her knowledge of the inner powers within her and from the constant use of the laws of her own mind in a constructive fashion. Dear friends, from our Indian Parliament, the great message for our Indian triangle, that is peace and prosperity, equality, oneness, unity, on the basis of caste, color, creed and language, all that. There should not be any discrimination on such basis. This is a huge message from the Parliament we are getting now for the betterment and upliftment of our society and nation. how to attract the ideal husband. You are now acquainted with the way your conscious mind works. You know that whatever you impress upon it will be impressed, it will be experienced in your world. Begin now to impress your subconscious mind with the qualities and characteristics you desire in a man. This following is an excellent technique. Sit down at night in your armchair. Close your eyes. Let go. Relax the body. Become very quiet, passive and receptive. Talk to your subconscious mind and say to it, I am now attracting a man into my experience who is honest and sincere. Honest, sincere, loyal, faithful, peaceful, happy and prosperous. These qualities which I admire are sinking down into my subconscious mind. Now I dwell upon these characteristics. They become a part of me and are embodied. Subconsciously I know there is an irresistible law of attraction and that I attract to me a man according to my subconscious belief. I attract that which I feel to be true in my subconscious mind. I know I can contribute to his peace and happiness. He loves my ideals and I love his ideals. He does not want to make me over, neither do I want to make him over. There is mutual love, freedom and respect. Practice this process of impregnating your subconscious mind. Then you will have the joy of attracting to you a man possessing the qualities and characteristics you mentally dwelt upon. Your subconscious intelligence will open up a pathway whereby both of you will meet accordingly to the irresistible and changeless law of your own subconscious mind. Have a keen desire to give the best that is in you of love, devotion and cooperation. Be receptive to this gift of love which you have given to your subconscious mind. How to attract the ideal wife. Dear friends, these are the ways, methods, manners, styles that are required for the peaceful maintenance of our society. Affirm as follows. I know, attract the right woman who is in complete accord with me. This is a spiritual union because it is divine love functioning through the personality of someone with whom I plan perfectly. I know I can give to this woman love, light, peace and joy. I feel and believe I can make this woman's life full, complete and wonderful. I now decree that the possesses the following qualities and attributes. She is spiritual, loyal, faithful and true. She is harmonious, peaceful and happy. We are irresistibly attracted to each other. Only that which belongs to love, truth and beauty can enter my experience. I accept my ideal companion now as you think quietly within interest on the qualities and attributes which you admire in the companion you seek. You will build the mental equivalent into your mentality, then the deeper currents of your subconscious mind will bring both of you together in divine order. No need for third mistake. No need for third mistake. Recently a teacher said to me, I have had 3 husbands and all three have been passive, submissive, and dependent on me to make all decisions and govern everything. Why do I attract such type men? I asked her whether she had known that her second husband was the effeminate type, and she replied, of course not. Had I known, I would not have married him. Apparently, she had not learned anything from the first mistake. The trouble was with her personality, makeup. She was very masculine, domineering, and unconsciously wanted someone who would be submissive and passive so that she could play the dominant role. All this was unconscious motivation, and her subconscious picture attracted to her what she subjectively wanted. She had to learn to break the pattern by adopting the right prayer process. How she broke the negative pattern? The above-mentioned women learned a simple truth. When you believe you can have the type of man you idealize, it is done unto you as you believe. The following is the specific prayer she used to break the old subconscious pattern and attract to her the ideal mate. I am building into my mentality the type of man I deeply desire. The man I attract for a husband is strong, powerful, loving, very masculine, successful, honest, loyal, and faithful. He finds love and happiness with me. I love to follow where he leads. I know he wants me, and I want him. I am honest, sincere, loving, and kind. I have wonderful gift to offer him. They are goodwill, a joyous heart, and a healthy body. He offers me. He offers me the same. It is mutual. I give and I receive. Divine intelligence knows where this man is, and the deeper wisdom of my subconscious mind is now bringing both of us together in its own way, and we recognize each other immediately. I release this request to my subconscious mind, which knows how to bring my request to pass. I give thanks for the perfect answer. She prayed in the above manner, bright and morning, affirming three truths and knowing that through frequent occupation of the mind, she would reach the mental equivalent of that which she sought. The answer to her prayer. Several months by, she had a great number of dates and social engagements, none of which was agreeable to her. When she was about to question, waver, doubt, and vacillate, reminded herself that the infinite intelligence was bringing it to pass in its own way, and that there was nothing to be concerned about. Her final decree in her divorce proceedings was granted, which brought her a great sense of release and mental freedom. Shortly afterwards, she went to work as a receptionist in a doctor's office. She told me that the minute she saw the physician, she knew he was the man she was praying about. Apparently, he knew it too, because he proposed to her the first week she was in the office, and their subsequent marriage was ideally happy. This physician was not the passive or submissive type, but was a real man, a former football player, an outstanding athlete, and was a deeply spiritual man, though he was completely devoted, devoid of any secretion or dominational affiliation. She got what she prayed for because she claimed it mentally until she reached the point of saturation. In other words, she mentally and emotionally united with her idea, and it became a part of her in the same way that an apple becomes a part of her bloodstream. Should I get a divorce? Divorce is an individual problem. It cannot be generalized. In some cases, of course, there never should have been a marriage. In some cases, divorce is not the solution. No more. So then marriage is the solution for a lonely man. Divorce may be right for one person and wrong for another. A divorced woman may be far more sincere and noble than many of her married sisters who perhaps are living a lie. For example, I once talked with a woman whose husband was a dope friend, an ex-convict, a wife beater and a known provider. She had been told it was wrong to get a divorce. I explained to her that marriage is of the heart. If two hearts blend harmoniously, lovingly and sincerely, that is the ideal marriage. The pure action of the heart is love. Following this explanation, she knew what to do. She knew in her heart that there is no divine law that compelled her to be browbeaten, intimidated, and beaten because someone said, I pronounce you man and wife. If you are in doubt as to what to do, ask for guidance and knowing that there is always an answer and you will receive it. Follow the lead that comes to you in the silence of your soul. It speaks to you in peace, drifting into divorce. Recently, a young couple married for only a few months was seeking a divorce. I discovered that the young man had a constant fear that his wife would leave him. He expected rejection and he believed that she would be unfaithful. These thoughts haunted his mind and became an obsession with him. His mental attitude was one of separation and suspicion. She felt unresponsive to him. It was his own feeling or atmosphere of loss and separation operating through them. This brought about a condition or action in accordance with the mental pattern behind it. There is a law of action and reaction or cause and effect. The thought is the action and the response of the subconscious mind is the reaction. His wife left him. His wife left home and asked for a divorce, which is what he feared and believed she would do. Divorce begins in the mind. Divorce takes place first in the mind. The legal proceedings follow after. These two young people were full of resentment, fear, suspicion and anger. These attitudes weaken, exhaust and debilitate the whole being. They learned that hate divides and that love unites. They began to realize that they had been doing with their minds. Neither one of them knew the law of mental action, nor they were misusing their minds and bringing on chaos and misery. These two people went back together at my suggestion and experimented with prayer therapy. They began to realize, to radiate love, peace and goodwill to each other. Each one practiced radiating harmony, health, peace and love to the other, and they alternated in the reading of the Psalms every night, their marriage is growing more beautiful every day. The negative wife, the nagging wife, many times the reason the wife nags is because she gets no attention. Oftentimes it is a craving for love and affection. Give your wife attention and show your appreciation. Praise and exalt all her many good points. There is also the negative type of woman who wants to make the man conform to her particular patterns. This is about the quicker way in the world to get rid of a man. The wife and the husband must cease being scavengers, always looking at the petty faults or errors in each other. Let each give attention and praise for the constructive and wonderful qualities in the other. The brooding husband. If a man begins to brood, grows morbid against his wife because of the things she said or did, he is psychologically speaking committing adultery. One of the meanings of adultery is idolatry, that is giving attention to or uniting mentally with that which is negative and destructive. When a man is silently resenting his wife and is full of hostility towards her, he is faithful. He is not faithful to his marriage vows, which are to love, cherish, and honor her all the days of his life. The man who is brooding, bitter, and resentful can swallow his sharp remarks, abate his anger, and he can go to great lengths to be considerate, kind, and courteous. He can roughly skirt the differences. Through praise and mental effort, he can get out of the habit of antagonism. Then he will be able to get along better, not only with his wife, but with the business as societies also. Assume the harmonious state, and eventually you will find peace and harmony. A great mistake is to discuss your marital problems or difficulties with neighbors and relatives. Suppose, for example, a wife says to the neighbor, "John never gives me any money. He treats my mother abominably, drinks to excess, and is constantly abusive and insulting." Now this wife is degrading and belittling her husband in the eyes of all the neighbors and relatives. He no longer appears as the ideal husband to them. Never discuss your marital problems with anyone except a trained counselor. Why cause numerous people to think negativity of your marriage? Moreover, as you discuss and dwell upon these shortcomings of your husband, you are actually creating these states within yourself. Who is thinking and feeling it? You are as you think and feel, so are you. Dear friends, relatives will usually give you the wrong advice. It is usually blessed. It is usually biased and prejudiced because it is not given in an impersonal way. Any advisor you receive which violates the golden rule, which is a comic and cosmic law, is not good or sound. It is well to remember that no two human beings ever lived beneath the same roof without classes of temperament, periods of hurt and strain. Happy side of your marriage. To your friends, keep your quarrels to yourself. Refrain from criticism and condemnation of your partner. Don't try to make your wife over. A husband must not try to make his wife over into a second edition of himself. The tactless attempt to change her in many ways is foreign to her nature. These attempts are always foolish and many times results in dissolution of the marriage. These attempts to alter her, destroy her pride and self-esteem, and arouse a spirit of contrariness and resentment that proves final to the marriage bond. Adjustments are needed, of course, but if you have a good book inside your own mind and study your character and behavior, you will find so many shortcomings. They will keep you busy the rest of your me. If you say, I will make him over into what I want, you are looking for trouble and the divine court. You are asking for misery. You will have a learn the hard way that there is no one to change but yourself. Pray together and stay together through steps in prayer. The first step, never carry over from one day to another accumulated irritation arising from little disappointment. Be sure to forgive each other for any sharpness before you retire at night. The moment you awaken in the morning, claim infinite intelligence is guiding you in all your ways. Send out loving thoughts of peace, harmony and love to your marriage partner, to all members of the family, and to the whole world. The second step, say grace at breakfast, give thanks for the wonderful food, for your abundance and for all your blessings. So that no problems, worries or arguments shall enter into the table conversation. The same applies at dinner time. Say to your wife or husband, I appreciate all you are doing and I radiate love and goodwill to you all day long. The third step, the husband and wife should alternate in praying each night. Do not take your marriage partner for granted. Show your appreciation and love, think appreciation and goodwill, rather than condemnation, criticism and nagging. The way to build a peaceful home and a happy marriage is to use a foundation of love, beauty, harmony, mutual respect, faith in God and all things good. Read 23rd, 27th and 91st Psalm, the 11th chapter of Hebrews, the 30th chapter of 1 Corinthians and other great texts of the Bible before going to sleep. As you practice these truths, your marriage will grow more and more blessed through the years. Dear friends, these are the some hints and tips that you have got for the peaceful establishment of the social establishment, re-establishment of the marriage institutions of the different partners. Those who are under conflict and contradictions, they must try to pacify each other by having the presence of Lord or God, because the presence of God or Lord is always with us in the form of air, fire, soil, sky and water. Even at these, even in the absence of light and sound, we have all this presence of Lord and God. May God bless all of us. Thank you, dear friends, brothers, sisters, learners and scholars, those who are listening carefully. May God bless all of you. Thank you. Nice to meet you. धन्यवाद भाइयों बहनों, सबका धन्यवाद। ताऊ जी, प्यारे बच्चे, भाइयों बहनों, बुजुर्गों, आप सभी आज हमें इस महत्वपूर्ण चर्चा में, इस आध्यात्मिक चर्चा में सुन रहे हैं। ये आज का सुंदरतम समय जो आज हमें भगवान ने दिया है, इसके लिए हम आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं कि आज हमें जो प्रभु ने, ईश्वर ने इस भारत देश की आन बान शान को ऊपर उठाने के लिए
इस तिरंगे की शान को हर घर में ही नहीं, हर दिल और दिमाग के अंदर ऊंचा बनाने के लिए हमें ये जो बल, बुद्धि, शक्ति, सोचने की, समझने की बख्शी है भगवान ने, इसके लिए हम फिर से आप सबका धन्यवाद करते हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और 13वें चुने हुए उपराष्ट्रपति महोदय, राष्ट्रपति महोदय, जो कि हमारे देश के सर्वोपरि, सर्वोच्च, बॉटम टू टॉप, रूट टू फ्रूट हैं। आज देश की सेवा के अंदर हम भाइयों बहनों को लगाने के लिए एक महान निर्देश दे रहे हैं। इसे हमें परिपूर्णता से निभाने के लिए आगे आना चाहिए। धन्यवाद भाइयों बहनों, थैंक यू।